Good afternoon, everybody. We just wanted to give an update on our holiday tack plan from 2024. As you know, we met right before the Christmas season at Cottonwood Mall, and we talked about our emphasis on shoplifting and theft during the holiday season, especially at some of our shopping locations. And we're going to talk a little bit about shoplifting and our efforts to combat shoplifting, but just remember the big presence also assists us with reducing auto burglaries, reducing auto theft, and a lot of other crimes that are reduced by our presence. I want to thank, first of all the officers and the detectives and specialized units that worked the holiday season. They started on Black Friday. They were out there throughout the holiday season, in particular Northwest Impact, Northwest PRT, Northeast PRT, and OCU were some of the units that were out there on a consistent basis. I know our tactical section assisted and other specialized units. They did generate 91 arrests, 33 felony shoplifting cases, 25 misdemeanor shoplifting. Other arrests included warrants, conspiracy, and possession of a controlled substance. 47 warrants were cleared during this operation, and approximately $28,000 in stolen merchandise was recovered. As you know, during this time frame, we also had two individuals who had committed two violent robberies on the west side, and we later, units that were working this operation, were able to apprehend these individuals in the northeast after an officer-involved shooting. So $28,000 in stolen merchandise recovered, and two individuals were arrested multiple times during this operation, and we want to highlight these two individuals. Michael Utzer and Joseph Higbin Botham. I probably butchered his name, but they were both arrested multiple times. 3 times for Joseph, and I believe it was 3 times also twice for Joseph and 3 times for Michael. And Ryan Matthew Schutzerler was arrested, and he is suspected in 21 other shoplifting cases. And the reason we're highlighting these 3 individuals is very simple. Is at the start of this operation, we thanked Miriam Matthews from the state legislature, who last year worked so hard to build a shoplifting law that we could combine cases together and use them to lift them from a misdemeanor to a felony. And these are the prime examples of why we wanted to do that. Right now, this individual will be looking at 21 single misdemeanor cases, which we know a lot of times doesn't have much of an impact in terms of consequences. And our detectives are able to build these cases into felony cases. Like I said, a lot of the results were generated by Northwest PRT. Matthew was arrested during this operation. Like I said, he had 21 other shoplifting cases. The proactive work of the detectives from PRT worked hand in hand with a lot of the businesses. When we started these operations a little bit over a year ago, we recall that in the uptown area, one of the things we talked about was the fact that the detectives were working with the businesses, and the businesses were actually alerting them that there were individuals inside the store. And because we had officers, we were able to quickly, in the area, we were able to quickly take a lot of these individuals into custody. It is this relationship that is a big reason as part of the success that we've had, and that we wanted to thank Representative Matthews for her hard work in getting this information, in getting this law passed so that we could combine and aggregate these cases into a felony level. But like I said, we just wanted to give an update on shoplifting. We'll be talking in the next week about the reduction we saw last year in auto theft. It was a very successful year. Once again, if you look back to 2017, where we were #1 in the nation, to where we are now and what's occurring nationwide, auto theft wise, and the decrease we're seeing in Albuquerque. And I've said it before to a lot of the media stations individually, the state of New Mexico is on a rise. The state of New Mexico has risen in its national ranking for auto theft, while the city of Albuquerque and the Albuquerque metro area is actually decreasing. So we're seeing a lot of success in the metro area with auto theft. We'll talk about that next week. We did have a slight reduction in homicides within the city. We've had a reduction in ag assaults and a lot of other crime categories. So we'll be talking about those in the weeks to come and breaking them down along with officer-involved shootings. So this is just the first of a number of press conferences that are going to be kind of recapping everything that occurred last year and the successes that we saw in fighting crime or other areas. With that, we'll open it up to any questions. Yes.
Compared to maybe last year's tactical plan for the holidays, do you think shoplifting went down this year at all with your all's efforts?
You know, I think that we had more of an impact this year on shoplifting because we're able to add the cases together and get felony charges out of them. And it's easier for us to build cases on these habitual offenders. And that's what we're working to address for the most part is a lot of these individuals we're dealing with, a lot of the individuals that are frustrating the business community, the citizens of Albuquerque, they are not new to the criminal justice system. They are repeat offenders who have very little consequences because we charge them with misdemeanors and it's hard for us to get any kind of consequences out of those cases. So by us being able to lift these up to a felony level, we're starting to see better consequences. And if you look, last year, we worked really hard to get people to report shoplifting. We saw a mass increase in shoplifting, but was it truly an increase in shoplifting? I believe it was more of an increase in people reporting shoplifting. We made it as easy as possible, upload video, but we started working that system. We talked about how to build these cases, and first part of the year, we also saw that increase, but as we were able to utilize this law and started charging the first of, I think it was like 40, somewhere near 47 people with this law where we could make it a felony instead of a bunch of misdemeanors, we started to see the decrease in the second half of the year on shoplifting. So I do think that compared to last year, we had more of an impact because we were able to charge felonies on a lot of these repeat offenders. Any other questions?
Are you all considering maybe expanding this effort year-round?
We actually do an extent of it year-round. Like we did this day in and day out during the holiday season, but it'll go back into our rotation. We talked about this last year. Like we did 1 week of shoplifting, then we'd mix it up and we'd do a week of felony warrants, and then we'd mix it up and do a week of operations on Central. So this will go back into the rotation where we're rotating through them. But all the time, we're still getting the cases over reported to us through the telephone report unit. We're filtering through them. We're looking at video. We're comparing offenders, and we're able to match them to multiple cases. That's then handed off to the detective, and they're able to build a felony case. So, like I said, we're still going to be continuing work. We're just having much better impact because of the fact that we're able to charge felonies.
Are you able to share a little bit more into depth of exactly what was the plan or what you guys did? I know it was specifically for shoplifting during the holidays, but there were some businesses that were breaking into during the night, and some business owners were wanting to have more police presence during the night. Are you able to share more information? What was that plan?
You know, this operation for the shoplifting was based during working hours in basically two primary areas, Uptown and Northwest area commands, two of our biggest shopping districts. And we had officers out there during the day looking for shoplifters. But we've also been very successful with some of the businesses, especially in the Old Town area where we did have problems mid-year. We worked close with the merchants from Old Town and some of the individuals that represent that area. And we're able to put more cameras in, more frequent patrol between APD and city security. And we have made some apprehensions. But I think somebody did a story this week, like once again, the frustration is the revolving door and the lack of consequences for a lot of these individuals who we catch and we're not able to keep in custody, and we know that we're going to be picking them up again. But this department has been committed to arresting individuals as many times as they have to, as evident with one of these individuals who has 21 other shoplifting cases, and we'll continue to arrest them over and over again if we have to, and build the strongest cases possible where eventually they have no choice but to keep them in custody.
And then just to clarify her question a little bit more, are you guys going to continue with this plan throughout the year, or?
Yes.
Object on that one?
Yes.
Just so you guys know, there's a version of this that goes on, I would say, year round with the PRTs where they work with the business owners as well as OCU. So I think it would safe to say that that's a version of it that happens.
Yeah, it's year round. They, like I said, they'll take up a week of it, and then they'll shift to something else and then go right back to it. We know that we can't leave it unchecked. And on a daily basis, they have developed relationships with those businesses, and those businesses, even though we may not be doing an operation, they still have the ability to reach out to officers. And if there's something occurring, that they will flag it. Or if we see an increase that we need to address, our Duke City stat meeting has been really good at identifying drivers of crime and us working to take those individuals into custody. Anything else? Just made it too simple. Well, thank you guys. Be safe. Take care.